Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Bane bringing you gaming goodness, and we're back with Hobby Table. Yes, the part of the channel that looks at the hobby element of tabletop gaming. And this is a follow-up to the previous Hobby Table episode, where we looked at my necromancer and undead spirits for the game Deth Wizards, and I was using all bestiarium figures. Well, at the end of that video, I did kind of raise a question in terms of what are going to be done regarding the enemies, the heroes, the villagers, and I basically presented a bunch of Zombicide figures. And I was sort of thinking, well, what can I do? I don't have time to paint like 25 figures which can represent what you could face during the game. Not all at once, obviously, but there are warriors, priests, rangers, paladins, you know? And if you get the maximum quantities for a game, you could potentially need up to 25 different figures. And I was thinking, how the hell am I going to do this? If I paint all these figures properly, like I normally do, I'm never going to get finished. The series is going to take forever because I'm going to have to wait until I paint the next batch to do the next video. And I have other miniature games and models that I kind of want to paint and do videos for. So there were some suggestions in the comments about, just painting them with speed paint, and that'll do. Maybe doing basically what I've done here, where I've just primed and, where I've basically just primed and washed the figures. I think you can get some board games where they give this as an option for the miniatures in the board game. I think it's called Sun Drop. Is it called Sun Dropping? But yeah, what I've done so far is for all the miniatures, all the enemies that we could face in Deth Wizards. Yeah, that's going to be a priest. Wizard, I think. This is going to be the champion. Recognize the mini? Name the movie. It's a silly place. But yeah, what I've done so far is I've just primed them with grey and I've given them a black future wash. Yeah, the old school method of doing the washes. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do zenithal high brushing, but I'm going to be using 2, possibly 3 colours in terms of grey and white, possibly with another grey in between. So it's going to be like maybe a medium grey, maybe this sort of grey that I primed them with to begin with, maybe a lighter grey, and then maybe a white at the end. But I was watching a video by Lyla the Mini Witch a little while ago, but I kind of remembered it while I was thinking about what to do for these. And there was this one video about, I think it was colour filters, where she was introducing a certain colour into every paint. I think she called it the mother colour or the mother paint. So when she did flesh, there was a bit of blue in the flesh because she wanted to give it all this sort of blue colour filter, this blue tinge to everything to represent the feeling. Like in horror films, you get the blue. In sort of happy films, you get a yellow or whatever. But I was thinking in that video, she was basically only painting the top half of the miniature. So that got me thinking, could I possibly do something similar with these? Because when you look at a miniature on the tabletop, you kind of focus on where the face is, and that's sort of the primary part where people look. So could I get away with just painting maybe the top half of a figure and then maybe subtly sort of blend into just this washed area? Because that could decrease the painting time a huge amount as well, especially, again, if I only use speed paints. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zenithal these guys, grey and then white. And I think I'm going to do a test model and we'll see how it goes. Join me in a couple of seconds and we'll see the results. Right, welcome back. Yeah, about that plan. I couldn't do it. I couldn't sort of just paint the top half. It really didn't look right. And my brain was telling me, you can't do this. It's not finished. And in terms of just using speed paints, again, I couldn't do it. It wasn't, my brain wouldn't allow me to do it. You see, I need my figures to be a certain level before I can show them on camera. I don't know how my brain's wired or something. I don't know. So it's been a little while since I recorded the first part of the video. I've been busy kind of in real life as well. But I have managed to get the figures for the first mission in the Deth Wizards campaign, Assault a Village. For that mission, you are going to be up against 3 villagers per player and D3+1 warriors per player. So potentially you could have 4 warriors and 3 villagers. Now, at the back, these are the miniatures I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using as villagers. So I've got 4 there. I'm only going to need 3 for the scenario, but I painted 4. At the front here, these are the miniatures I'm going to be using to represent warriors. Now, again, for the warriors, it's going to be random for the first mission, so I'm going to have between 2 to 4. Knowing my luck, I'm probably going to end up with 4. And then over here, this little guy standing by himself over here, that's going to be a priest, and that's going to be for the second mission. As long as the first mission goes okay, and I don't have to sort of redo it because I fail it. The second mission is called Conduct a Ritual. You're up against D3 warriors, 1 wizard, and 1 priest. Now, I do already have one of these Zombicide figures of a wizard already painted. I used that miniature in 5 Leagues from the Borderlands. So that 1 wizard is already. I do have all the other wizards still to paint. But what I've got here are the miniatures that I need for the enemies in the first 2 missions. But like I say, I think if the first mission goes bad and I fail it, I may do it again. But we'll have to see what happens. So these are from Zombicide, Black Plague. Let's take a look at the villagers first. They're the most basic. And again, I just couldn't bring myself to just use speed paints or just paint the top half. So this is Nelly, who I'm going to be using as a villager. Now, I didn't paint these quite as much or as well as I normally do, so they are a bit more basic compared to my normal miniatures, but like I say, I still had to bring them to a certain level before they were good enough. The sort of dress or the skirt, I probably would have painted a bit more if I was doing these properly. And I haven't varnished these yet, so I have to be a little bit careful. I do tend to show the miniatures on camera before I varnish them, because we have had frosting incidents before. So that's Nelly. The second villager, this guy could have been used as a warrior, but I didn't really have many alternatives for villagers, so I'm going to be using this guy as a villager. Arnold. Now, for Arnold, he has like a yellow cloak, but I kind of like the way that the speed paint came out, and I haven't actually touched it up or painted it a different colour. I actually like the way that the colour came out on this. So this is Arnold, and again, this is basically speed paints plus a few highlights. But again, it's not to a level that I normally do, but it's not what I was planning to do in terms of getting them all done quickly. I couldn't do it. The third villager is going to be this one, and this is Piper. Again, I just tried to pick the miniatures from Zombicide that look the most like sort of villagers. Now, again, I think if I was doing this miniature properly and not sort of a speed job, I probably would highlight the dress a little bit more, maybe one more level of layering on the dress. My metallics, I'm not good with metallics, so the metallics kind of let down my painting quite badly. But yeah, these were done faster than normal, not as many highlights as normal. But I just couldn't do just half of them. My brain wouldn't let me. I couldn't just use speed paints, I needed to highlight. So this is Paul. This will represent the 4th and final villager that I might need. Here he is. Now, the miniature itself, I wasn't too sure whether it actually had a beard or not. I mean, the picture, he has a beard, but I don't know. I kind of left him beardless. But I mean, looking at that top lip, I may have to actually add a beard to him at some point. Again, my painting of metallics is terrible. I tended not to focus too much on the lower part of the miniatures, but I I did some work, as I've mentioned a number of times already. For the warriors, now for the warriors, I've included a couple that you may recognise. If not the miniature, you'll probably recognise the picture. But again, this is for Zombicide. Recognise him? He's got two hands, which is probably not what you remember. Troy. This is Troy from a certain amazing horror movie. Now, the miniature that I got in my Zombicide box basically was missing its nose, so I kind of had to paint it as best I could, but he kind of is missing his nose. But yeah, this is going to represent my first warrior. The second warrior is this guy. Again, I had an abundance of warriors to choose from in the Black Plague. Not so many of the others. I mean, there was a lot of wizards and warriors. Other sort of character classes, there weren't a huge amount to choose from. This is Scowl. And this is how he turned out. Again, quick paint jobs. But again, I couldn't do it as quick as I was planning. Okay, that's Scowl. Third one is a big boy. There you go. I think this might be one of the basic characters, one of the sort of initial characters, Clovis. So this is Clovis. He came out a little bit dark. I think especially on that, the cloak came out with very dark shadows. But it kind of works. It kind of works. It'll be fine on the tabletop. And then the final warrior, you may recognize her. Dum dum dum, warrior princess. And this is Zuza. Zuza, yeah. I don't think I've done her justice, to be honest. I really don't think I've done her justice with this figure. But I want to try to get them done quickly so I can get the gameplay and the campaign done. And then the last figure, like I say, this guy is kind of in... Come on, focus. This guy's kind of in preparation for the second mission. Whenever I do that, like I say, if I fail the first mission, I may do the first mission again, because the reward's quite nice. The reward for the first mission is... get a bonus to when you roll new undead. So, I mean, as a spirit caller, you don't start off with as many undead as some of the others, so it could be useful. But this is going to represent my first priest. I do have another 3 to paint up, because in the... Was it 3 or 2 more? I can't remember. But in Deth Wizards, you have to roll randomly for all these type of enemies, and you could end up with 2, 3, 4. So yeah, this is going to be the first of the priests. This guy here. This is James the priest. This guy was actually really quick. This is actually one of the few times where I've actually used speed paints, and pretty much that was it. For his sort of cloak, or for his habit, for his hood, I actually didn't do any highlights whatsoever. Doesn't happen very often with speed paints with me, to be honest. There's a lot of the time when I use speed paints, I still need to highlight to bring it to a level that I will accept. But with this one, I didn't do anything on the robes. And it's fine. It's good enough. It's good enough. So those are the figures that I've completed so far for the heroes and the enemies of my Necromancer and his warband. I've got a lot more to do as the campaign progresses, but we have enough now to start the first mission. Anyway, guys, just to sort of show you that you can use board game miniatures in tabletop gaming. The quality may not be as good as what we would consider as normal miniatures, the sort of hard plastic, the metal, the resin, but you can still paint them up to a decent level in order for you to use them in games. Other than board games, tabletop skirmish, battle games, they're perfectly good enough with a little bit of a paint job. Right, guys, thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next video. I think the next video will probably be going over the rules for Deth Wizards and rolling up my Necromancer and his horde. So, until then, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell, add comments. Thank you very much in advance. But I will see you soon. Take care. Stay safe. Cheers.